Well, hello everyone. JT here. Happy Sunday for all of you tuning in live today, or happy, again, whatever day. I've kind of got into that rhythm of just saying happy whatever day, depending on when you're watching. But whether you're watching live, whether you are catching the replay, thank you for joining us today. And I wanted to do something a little different today. The reason is I have really been amazed at the feedback that I've been getting over the last few months about the Huddle. And what it's taught me is that the power of this Thinking into Greatness community that has grown, that has evolved into over just 1,700 people here on Facebook and even more on other social media platforms, that we are spanning now 6 continents. That one thing that's really resonating with me is the power of story. And what I wanted to share with you is that your story has power. And, some of the ahas that I've gotten back, the feedback that I've gotten back from some of you about, hey, this person's story in the Huddle really resonated with me. This is what I'm doing with it. This person's story. It's so amazing what happens when you get open to new ideas, where you accept a different way of thinking, that the quality of your life changes. So what I wanted to do today was to come on here and do a huddle, but do a mastermind edition. Now, for those wondering, what is a mastermind? I come from a background of sports. My three special guests here also come from backgrounds of sport. A mastermind is just a team, baby. That's all it is. It is surrounding yourself with other ambitious people that are getting after in life, people that have goals in their personal and professional life. It's being around other driven people, people that don't accept the status quo, people that have the discipline to put in the reps and sets on a daily basis. And it's people that are open-minded, people that keep their minds open to new ideas, to new people, to new opportunities. Because when you combine that ambition, that drive, that open-mindedness, that is where you can achieve your next level of greatness. And what I'm here to share with you is my purpose in life is to teach you, to remind you of what happens in your life when you go all in on you. And these 3 are testaments to it. It's been amazing to see how their lives have changed by going all in on themselves. So what I want you to do now is to go all in on you. So here's what I need you to do. I want you to just put the things down. Put your phone down. Put it on airplane mode. Because I guarantee you this, if you go all in right now and you listen to what these guys are saying, you will get an idea that has the possibility to change and transform your life. But you got to go all in, baby. Okay? So in the huddle with me today are my good friends, my brothers from another mother, David Wong, Travis Desjardins, and Jordan Fields. Thanks for coming on today, brothers.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good to be here, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's kick off. Let's again, we won't delay because that's what people do. They get after it, right? As Jordan was telling us before, let's just get after it. So here's what I would love to know is, you guys have been around this work. You guys have been studying thinking to results for a good amount of time. What have you guys learned? And I'll throw this out there, Gen Run, just who feels like they want to get. How have your ideas of goals changed, either personally or professionally? Yeah, who would love to share?
Yeah, I can share. So
Yeah.
ever since starting, thinking into results, for goals, they've been exploded, right? So it's almost just like my goals were so small before that were kind of holding me to where I was in the past, but now my goals are things that really push me to do things differently and in a certain way that allows me to, be in touch with more people that I care about. The goals allow me to help other people, right? So just making the goals bigger, badder, and faster. That's what has done for me.
I love that. Bigger, badder, faster, right? Like who wouldn't want that? What about you, David, Jordan? How have your goals or your ideas of goals changed since you've really went all in on yourself and started and committed to doing this work?
Well, I'd say for me, honestly, I didn't really have any goals before. So this is kind of something that gave me direction in my life and, kind of fulfilled, giving me a purpose as to something that I'm trying to reach. And then, yeah, just like what Travis said about, them, bigger goals and actually believing that you can achieve some of these things that you never really thought were possible, or were kind of, an afterthought in previous years, kind of growing up and just, growing your mentality to, that you have a lot of potential in you and that you can, actually achieve this stuff when you put your mind to it.
I love that. I love that idea of possibility, right? It opens you up. Like it blows the limit. Like all of a sudden you become limitless. You become open to possibility. That's great. I love that one, Share. Thank you, Jordan. What about you, David?
I would say everything that Travis said, but I like, for me, I don't think I was ever lacking goals. I think what I was lacking was, the key ingredient in how to, because goals are just words on a piece of paper until you do something with it, right? And so for me, the piece that I was lacking, I was taking the action, but I needed to attach emotion to it. I think that was the key thing that I took away, so far at least. And being able to attach emotion to it and why I'm doing it, who I'm doing it for, is really the driving force. It's like, some days I would wake up, I have that goal on my paper, I have that goal on my whiteboard, but it's like, it's not actually bringing me out of bed until I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing it for. I'm looking to buy that house. I have to, there's no other option right now. And so attaching emotion to the goals, learning that was the key differentiator for me.
Nice. I love that. And I love how, you talked about that, goals, and it's something we talk about, right? In our mastermind is, so how many of you out there have goals, right? And what I'd like you to do is type yes in the comment section right now if you have a goal. And I really love, what David shared is that a goal, like if you can write down a goal, it's an intellectual exercise. And what these guys are sharing is, I mean, you may intellectually, believe it or believe that it's possible for other people, but until you start playing around with it, until you start really getting after it, and that's why, like, I'm just hearing like Jordan, like, let's get after it, right? It's a hope or a wish, right? There's no life to it, but when you start to get emotionally involved with it, when you start to move into action, that is where the goals, right? Like goals don't work unless you do first, right? Like it's not an intellectual exercise. So I love, and I appreciate you guys sharing it, your experiences. So one of the things that many people struggle with, right? And like each of you, again, I've known you guys for varying length, but I've known each of you for years in your own way, is one of the common things that prevents most people is, something that my mentor, Bob Proctor, and again, who you guys are following, who you guys are being mentored by as well, is, this illusion of time that, when I have more time. I'm curious, what has thinking into results done for you in terms of how you look at your 24 hours in a day? And what I would do is I would love to maybe ask David, how has your concept of time changed?
For me, the concept of time, it's, they always say that you can, you shift things around, you make time for yourself, and, you make time for what's important, right? It's just prioritizing. For me, and for many people, I think that's just theory, but for me, I'm a factual person, right? I need to see, okay, let's break it down. I have, let's just say, for example, 1,000 minutes in a day, and I become the CEO of that 1,000 minutes of the time. Where am I putting?
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, I cut off.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
where am I putting these 30 minutes chunks of time, and where is it actually going? And then what am I getting? And then I look at the results at the end of every week. Okay, this is where I've allocated my time. What are my results based on that? You know what I mean? So it's always analyzing what the results are after spending a certain amount of time on certain things. And from there, I'm able to better prioritize. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's the concept of time. I don't know. It's complicated and still fascinating to me. I'm still sort of really figuring it out. But at the end of the day, it's really just prioritizing. It's what's important to you. Because even if I don't tell you to do anything new, and all you do is just analyze how you spend the last, 24 hours in a day, you might find out that you're spending 24 or like 3 hours on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is that what you're prioritizing, or could you spend the 3 hours on something else?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, right? And people might think that they're really busy, but until they actually look at it and like stare it in the face, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not really using my time optimally.
I love that. Optimal time, right? Like, optimizing. Okay. What about you, Jordan? How has your idea of time, favorite word, time management, how has that shifted for you? I mean, you're pretty driven, like you're a pretty disciplined guy.
Well, we always talk about before about we can't manage time, but we can manage our activities, right? And I think that was, one of the things that always stuck with me is that, I even look at people in my situation that I'm trying to train. It's like they say that they don't have time to go to the gym, but it's like they look at all the other stuff that they're doing throughout the day that's, not really benefiting them in any way. And, if we make time for our priorities, for what's important, then we can, start to make those small changes, and then it will impact us in a greater way, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love it. That's a great, I love that. Can't manage time, but you can manage your activities. I love that. What about you, Travis?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off Jordan there about managing your activities. So for me, every hour, minute, second has a purpose, right? So rather if it's me waking up at 6 a.m. to study, or rather if it's me after I work to make some marinade, right? So it's all about, planning what you enjoy and planning on things that are going to really push you to do things that you want to do, right? So managing your activities at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 1 a.m., whatever time it may be, just be doing stuff that's going to benefit you.
And I love that. And one of the things that we always talk about here in the huddle, and one of the big motivations for me to do it was to allow other people to share their story, because success always leaves clues. And if you take a look at these 3 successful, highly effective guys, right? Like, listen to what they're saying. Like, if you really objectively, again, objectively means not like kicking the shit out of yourself if your schedule isn't optimized right now, but if you really took a look at the activities you're doing in a 24-hour period and you really broke them down, are your activities allowing you to get to the place you want to go? That's a question you have to answer for yourself, right? And again, that does start with identifying clear and specific goals. But then am I am I adding those activities that are really going to help me move the needle to get to those goals, right? And really what that comes down to is productive and effective use of your time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You get to choose every day how you're managing, what you're doing, how you're managing your activities. Okay. So one of the things that I've always loved is this idea of, one of the popular ones is I have to think about it. And one of the things that we have learned as we've been masterminding is that how much of our day all of us are spent on autopilot, right? Like if you really think about it, right? And I'm truly like, if you really understand this, that 96 to 98% of everything you do is controlled by the subconscious mind, right? And to really start to understand it, you start to develop you must develop these higher conscious faculties or mental muscles that we talk about. So things like your will, your perception, your imagination, your intuition, right? Your memory. So I'm curious for you guys, what role, like a lot of this work in Thinking to Results is understanding how the mind works. What has been your biggest aha since you've really learned how the mind works, right? And what I'll do is I would love to sort of start with you, Jordan. How is, as you've come to understand how the mind truly works, right? What have you noticed in your life? Like what has changed?
So for me, I just go back to what you were kind of saying before about like kind of understanding why, we do the things that we do. Cause I remember there's so many fucking times where I do something that I know I'm not supposed to. And I'd question myself, like, why am I doing this? And it happened over and over again until I, kind of started to study this material and understand like, okay, this is the reason, like the conscious and the subconscious mind, like, working together and, really impressing those ideas on your subconscious, to kind of realize, okay, this is why I'm doing this. And this is why I'm not getting the results that I'm getting. Right. So I think for me, I just started to develop, this process of changing those, permanently. Right. And over time, those things start to lead, to success in different areas of my life. Right.
I love it. I love it, right? It's like just learning, how come I'm doing that, right? And it's not coming from a place of judgment, right? It's just, like it's fascinating, right? When we really stop and go, it's interesting. Okay. What about you, Travi? What has been a big takeaway for you since you've learned how, more about the mind and how it actually works?
Yeah, well, the line you said, I'll think about it, was a line that I would commonly used to use in the past, right? And once I got a great understanding about myself, is that the more I thought about things, the less I was going to do it. The more I got digging deep, my anxiety would start kicking in. I'll find any excuse in the past, the reason why I should not do this. Well, once I started just doing things and, putting my goals into action, that's when I noticed how much this work has benefited me personally. There's a lot of opportunities that have came up, and there's a lot of opportunities that I've missed out on because I'll think about it. But now it's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Just like this live. You want to jump on a live at 11 a.m.? Yeah, let's do it. Right? So that just do it mentality has really came out for me since studying this stuff. Yeah. And I know how much it's benefited me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. David, here's what I would love to know from you as a big part of this work. And like you said, you've always had goals, but what about the role of imagination, of being able to really tap into that? And, a big thing is visualize, like how is learning to really harness the power of your imagination? How has that played a role in your life?
It falls back to the cliche. It's just thoughts become things, right?
Yeah.
So the more time you can spend visualizing, imagining, whatever word you want to use, of you in the place of your goals achieved,
Yeah.
the faster it's going to get you there, right? I didn't believe that, a year or two ago when people said that to me. But if you look at every successful person right now, they would all have something like that in their toolbox. You know what I mean? And for me, I can testify to that as well now, because a year ago, before I started this program, and thinking of results, I had the agency, but we weren't making the money I would have liked to make. But I was able to imagine us. Okay, I was able to visualize. Okay, now I have a team of 20 people. We were making $50,000 monthly recurring revenue, and then we're like 10K off right now from the monthly recurring revenue, and we have 19 people on the team. And my coffee business, it was just a thought at the time before I started this, and then in November we officially launched. I wanted to buy a house in July this year, but I started thinking about it and visualizing it in September last year, and now we just got the deal closed down, the completion dates. I'm getting the keys July 3rd. And that's all stuff that I visualize. And I think for me, it's a really big thing, just being able to constantly think about that, because you're always gonna be thinking about something. You know what I mean? So you might as well be thinking of the stuff and visualizing the things that you want to get, right? And whether that means you are able to, like for me, it's easy for me to just bring those things to my forefront and just focus on those things. But if not, and the gold card really helps. The money magnets really help. You know what I mean? Like every time you look at it, every time you touch it, it's like, what's that? Oh yeah, that's me in 10 years. That's me in 1 year. You know what I mean? And being able to think about it even for a few seconds when that happens, it's huge.
Yeah, no, and thank you for sharing, right? And that's what again, love the power of imagination. What about you, Travi and Jordan? I would love to know, again, you guys are like me, you're ambitious, you're driven, you're open-minded. How has your experience changed around this idea of like using your imagination, tapping into it and developing that mental muscle?
Yeah, no, I love what David was saying about like affirming it, right? Affirmations, even with me, to visualize it was just amazing. Like I visualized myself wearing a pink blazer. What am I wearing right now? It's a pink blazer. It's a pink blazer. I've always wanted one.
Yeah.
Always wanted one. And JT knows this. And I remember when I visualized myself in one, I ended up buying 2 blazers because I know how well that made me feel. But yeah, just visualizing in the past where I was to now, it has all came into fruition, all came to life, plus more, right? So now when we visualize, it's even greater, right? So I don't just visualize myself in a pink blazer. I visualize myself wearing a pink blazer on a stage talking to people, right? So, and I know that's going to happen.
Well, it is happening right now, right? You're on a virtual stage right now, sharing with everyone. You're going worldwide, brother.
Actually, love it.
What about you? What about you, Jordan? In terms of your experience, as you've developed your imagination and really developed that mental muscle.
Yeah, I think it helps with just kind of getting rid of the limitations that you had before, and kind of opens up your mind to the different, your potential and your possibilities that, there's no goal that's really too big that you can't accomplish once you've, allowed your mind to have the belief and faith in yourself that you can get it. And then obviously it's nice when it's around, you got the supportive group that are around you that can kind of, guide you and mentor you through, the different processes. Cause, there's always going to be, the ups and downs, but, if you can keep going with, with the mindset and also, being around supportive people really helps the process.
Yeah, no, definitely. And actually, I just thought of the imagination. I remember seeing, that idea of like showing people what's possible. And if you want to see a cool video, you should check out Jordan. I was watching it as I was playing around on my TikTok yesterday, where Jordan, the jumping over the front of your car like that, you got to create everything happens first, right? Like Jordan had to think about that first, and then he actually went out and did it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
It's like, if I get hurt, I get hurt. So be it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You've got enough vert. I saw that vert in grade 9, first day, grade 9, Pinball. Okay, you're gonna come out and play football for me. Okay, so one of the things I would love to know, and this is one thing that isn't always talked about, because sometimes, again, you get around, quote unquote alpha males, right? And that's where I was always saying, like, alpha male sometimes gets a negative connotation. I look at it as now alpha male as, again, someone who's ambitious, driven, open-minded, someone who wants to live the greatest life possible, right? And understands it's, it's just about living that life. And when you live a great life, other people can live a great life too. But the one thing that often isn't talked about is the idea of self-image, right? Is very often in life that we don't realize, or at least I didn't realize before I found this work, how important self-image is, right? In the completion of goals, and that you can never outperform your self-image. So I'm really curious. I'd love to throw that question out there to anyone that wants to run with it. If you can never outperform your self-image, and I always like it to, your self-image is like a thermostat, right? It's like the thermostat in your home, that wherever it's set will ultimately determine the results you get in your life. Not good or bad, it is what it is. So I'm curious, what have you come to understand about self-image? And what has been maybe an aha for you that you didn't even realize before? I know it's kind of a big one, but like, what role? Like, why is self-image so important?
I think the key to true confidence, where you're not faking it, where you're actually, grounded and you're calm and you're decisive in yourself, really stems from the self-image. And also, it kind of relates to, when people say that they don't really give a fuck about what other people think, that's truly where it comes from, is when you're good with yourself, not just, on the outside image, but, who you are as a person, is very crucial to becoming successful.
Love it. I love it. That's a great point. David, Travi?
No, I like what Jordan said with the common confidence, right? So getting mostly attached to that belief that you are someone more than you in the past think you were, right? So that self-image for me, I use this intimidating, tall, dark, and handsome guy that can walk down any street, right? But now I'm just like, maybe I should use that as an effective leader, the common confidence that people see inside of me, that they can have that common confidence inside of them as well, right? So that self-image piece, that you can never outperform it, is be yourself, be true to yourself, and really learn about yourself, right? So that's what it kind of reflects with me.
Okay. David?
For me, just to add on to what they both already said, one of the key things that has helped me build on my self-image is just being, kind, compassionate, empathetic to yourself, taking the time to reflect back and look at your goals and just see that like instilled so much confidence in me, and really encouraged me to keep moving forward, because, when I'm in the trenches, you don't really notice like how far you've come and everything like that. So if you're able to look back and reflect, it's like, oh, okay, I have grown, I have had this many wins. And that is a huge boost to my self-image.
And
I like that, in the trenches.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. So here's a question that just sort of popped up as you guys were talking about. So I think anyone intellectually knows, right, that self-image, right? Self-image is like what you believe. Like, most people believe that greater is possible for other people, right? Like, and that's where comparison, right? We look at other people sometimes living the life that we want, achieving the results they want, their health or their relationships or their income or their business or their career or their lifestyle. We go, oh, okay, yeah, like, I think I could do it, right? Like, I think I could if all the stars aligned and everything got it there. But like, do you truly believe, like, when shit hits the fan, as when you're in the trenches, like, do you believe? And it's so easy to say, yeah, I believe, but really, whatever that story is going on in here, as you guys all know and understand, that's where we truly start to. How has, and this is a question that just sort of came up for me. now that you kind of know these, one of the things that we talk about is teaching these principles, right? These 7 principles that guide everyone's life. How has really understanding these principles, not just knowing them, like in school where you can like write it down and regurgitate it, like it's a definition on a test, but truly understanding, and understanding comes the ability to apply that knowledge, that information. How has that shifted your ability to show up calm and confident? I'm curious, and I'll just throw that out there to anyone.
Yeah, well, I think it allowed me to be more vulnerable and open, right? It allowed me to forgive and accept new opportunities and forgive anything that's happened to me in the past and forget about it, right? So it allowed me to really push for the future instead of living in the past. Yeah, that would be, keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, I love it. Keep it on the eyes, right, on the road ahead. Yes. Which I was having this conversation with someone, is so often in life, most people spend their time looking backwards the whole time, and you're always looking backwards, you're going to get in a car crash, right? Anything else? David, Jordan, throw it out there to you, if you guys have any ideas on that one. Like, how's your understanding? How is understanding these 7 principles, how have they helped you be more calm and confident?
I think when you start to become more confident, you start to, take a lot more action, as opposed to just sitting back and just kind of being like, oh yeah, I'll start, this day or whatever. Because, we, in our head, we have all this knowledge that we've gained over the years, but then we don't really apply it to anything. And then obviously, for sure, what Travis said, just kind of focusing on the things that you want instead of the things you don't want. And then, you have all these negative thoughts and paradigms that you've kind of been in this story that you've been telling yourself for a long time, and it's really hard to get out of it. And once you kind of start to break it up and kind of start to make your own new one, then you can kind of proceed forward by taking just action every day.
Love it. Action Jackson, brother. I love it. Anyone else want to add anything?
Sure.
Yeah,
I think, for me, it's just instilling the confidence of, taking action, but also being willing to take action, even though you might knowing that you might run into mistakes. You might run into walls, but the matter of the fact is, the faster you make those mistakes and the earlier you do in the game, the faster you're able to readjust and keep going. And then, it might be a hit to your confidence every time you hit the wall, but at least you're taking action. So for me, I think it comes back down to the knowing doing gap. I don't need more information to get started. There is plenty of information out there. I have enough content and context I need to at least do something and take one step forward, versus just staying at the starting line and trying to gather all the information I think I need in order to take one step, which might still end up running against the wall. You never know, but it's just, being confident to take that first step.
Yeah. And I love that. And really what came up for me as you guys talked about that was, I look at my kids. Like, kids are the best because they truly show what humans are designed to do, right? Like my kids last week, when they wanted to start their dog walking business, they didn't like go, oh my God, I wonder what our neighbors are going to think by me putting up a poster. I wonder what so-and-so is going to say if I start a business, like, you know what I mean? And it's interesting that the fear of criticism, right, is the thing that keeps most people from ever pursuing. Like, and the funny thing is, it's like, we talk about it, it's the story that's going on here. Like, the truth of the matter is, if you're watching this right now, the reason this is a mastermind is because we are like each other's biggest cheerleaders and fans, right? Like, I want to see Travis succeed more than Travis does, right? Travis wants to see Jordan succeed more than he does, right? Jordan wants to see David succeed more than he does. And that's like the power of a mastermind, is truly like, who has your back when in the trenches, right? When push comes to shove. And why that resonates with me and why I'm getting so fired up and passionate about that is, I come from a background of sport like these guys do. And I'm telling you this, when when you have someone, your brother to your right, your brother to your left, and you have someone that's going to be regardless, is going to be there with you, walking with you, regardless of what's going on. Like that's brotherhood. That's a mastermind. And that is, I don't know if there's a stronger sense, a feeling, an emotion, a sense of belonging. And when you have that, you can move mountains. So what I would love to know from you guys is, what about the power of attitude, right? And one of the things that Bob often talks about is attitude is one of the hallmarks of every successful, every highly effective person. What role has attitude? Like, I think everyone understands, like everyone thinks it's positive attitude, but it goes beyond greater than that. What has your understanding of attitude, how has that changed since you started getting into this work and going all in?
For me, I'd say just that you have actually more control than you think you do. You know, in any daily situation, you can look at somebody, positive or negative, but also, things are going to happen that you don't want them to, but it's how long you dwell on those things. It could last the whole day if you let it, but you can kind of flip that switch and look at it as a lesson, learning lesson, or just kind of be optimistic about it, right?
Love that. What else? Travi, David, anyone?
Yeah, no, I like the win, learning, grow that you kind of phrased there, Jordan. Yeah, but attitude, like if you approach life with, I know you're saying like positive attitude, it's more than that, it's deeper than that. But having that attitude of getting up every single day and working on yourself, studying for yourself, and not just studying as a robot, like you're studying physics or whatever, right? It's important, but really getting mostly attached to that belief of what you're studying is going to be there for you, and having that attitude of doing things when it's not convenient for you, right? That's what really pushed me a bit, right? It was easy for me to stay in bed, get an extra hour of sleep, and then wake up for work and go to work and go home and sleep. But when the attitude kicked in of, okay, my 8 to 5 maybe pays the bills right now, but my 5 to 9 is building my empire, right? So that's my attitude now.
I love that. Might be paying the bills, but the 5 to, I love that one. That's great. David?
For me, whatever your attitude, like attitude is energy at the end of the day, I think for me. So it's like, if you have a positive attitude, you're going to have positive energy going into whatever you're doing. And I can only say that now, and it's really obvious to me because I used to be that guy I would be driving on the 404, and if someone does something weird to me in front of me, I would speed up, cut in front of them, and be a dick. I would have that negative attitude and energy towards things, and that would actually dictate how I behave the rest of my day. So when I was able to understand that, okay, the attitude you go towards the attitude you use to do one thing is the same attitude you use towards everything. So it's like, okay, I have to do whatever it takes, whether it be, visualizing, meditating, just taking a step back and like reflect on my goals, and then decide on what attitude I need in order to get there, and then use that attitude towards the rest of my day. That's, the attitude translates into the energy that I use to do those things.
Again, I love what you guys are sharing. And this is like, the best part, folks, is like, this is what we do every week. Like, it's so fun because all of a sudden the people that you surround yourself with in your mastermind, like they become family, right? It's like, this is kind of this is the shits and giggles we have. Like, what a better feeling. And what really came up for me as you guys were talking about it, again, you guys all come from different sports, right? But you got to have the athletic background. I don't know. There's just something about the athlete mindset. And that's probably why, our communities, filled with so many athletes, former athletes, is there's an attitude about it, right? Like there is a confidence and swagger. And I love what Jordan talked about. One of the biggest myths out there is this fake it or make it bullshit. Like fake it or make it doesn't work. You may think it's working, but people can smell it. Like, they may not know, but I think we've all had that before. But if you truly want to develop that calm and confidence that these guys are talking about, you know what calm and confidence is the scoreboard of life. It is, I am currently in this moment, my opponent has 21. Maybe life has 21 points on you right now, and you have a big goose egg on your side. True confidence is the ability to, like, I don't give a shit what is on the scoreboard. I'm going to walk on the field like I got this, right? And being able to walk with your chin held high, your shoulders back, and just that confidence to, like, I got this. Like, just give me the ball. It's good. One play at a time, baby. 1+1 play at a time. That's where everything in your life starts to shift. And that's what these guys are learning every day. And you know how they are? Yes. Do they have their own gifts, talents, and abilities? Absolutely. But you know what they did is they went all in on themselves. They invest time and energy, both, physical, mental, financial energy, into growing themselves. And you know why they're so calm and confident? Because they know who they are. They know where they're going in life. They know what they want, right? They truly like themselves. And yeah, we have those moments where the doubt, the fear, the worry comes back. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what the big difference is? You can create a shift backwards, right? You can create a shift back to that common confidence, right? And they are themselves. Like that's what this energy is. And when you truly know yourself, like yourself, and can be yourself, and you take away all the bullshit that's holding you back. And that's what these guys have done. They've reprogrammed their mind. They've changed the story, what's going on here. That is where everything in your life starts to shift, right? Don't just look at them, right? So here's a question I would have for you. So let's say there is someone out there that, they watch these chalk talks, they watch all the huddles, they're thinking about it. Let's say they've been reading the books, they've been listening to the podcasts, they know enough that, or they're aware enough that, I'm not getting the results I want. I feel like I have more to give. I just don't know how, right? Like just feeling super stuck. What is one piece of advice you would give them to help them get unstuck? I'll throw it out there. Just softball that question out there.
Yeah. So that's again how I used to think about the how, right? So I'd say surround yourself with a mastermind like this of people who are ambitious, positive, who want goals. That's the first step, is find yourself surrounded of people who not only want the things that you want, but have the things that you want. And be an intelligent follower. Follow that effective leader who every single day they show up the same, no matter what's going on. And they're really shooting for the stars for you. And I can tell you right now, JT and all of us, we want that for you. So yeah, just do it.
Love it. Nike, just do it. David, Jordan?
Oh, so for me, go for it, Jordan.
No, you go.
All right. So you kind of stole the words out of my mouth, Travis, and I swear we're not being paid to say any of this, but for me, it's again, it comes back down to the mastermind, right? Like it's almost like, who do you want? Like I don't play football, like you guys are all in football. I'm from Taekwondo, but the way I visualize it now, it's sort of like if you're at the Super Bowl, you have one last chance to get that final touchdown, whatever, and you're 1 point away, right? Who do you want on that final line with you? And I want these 3 guys on my line, and then we have JT in the back, the facilitator, the coach, who's like, this is the game plan, right? This is what it feels like for me. You know what I mean? I have countless books here that I read for years, and I thought that's all I needed. I thought I needed the books, the more the YouTube videos, the podcast, but until I had a group of people like-minded who was able to actually support me, hold me accountable to those things that I was trying to do, none of it actually happened. You know what I mean? So mastermind, is it. It's all in the mastermind.
Okay. George?
Yeah, I think it boils down to just kind of taking a second to, finding your purpose, right? And, regardless of whatever situation that you're in now or whatever's happened to you before, not let that determine, what you want to do going forward. And when you can truly, take that and be objective about it, and you're not worrying about all the other things that could go wrong or, whatever might happen, can really be, impactful. And then obviously what these guys say, not being afraid, to ask for help and thinking that you need to do it, by yourself, because, if you can't, that doesn't mean, you're inadequate or you're not tough enough or you're just not good enough. There's no, shame in reaching out to, a friend or somebody like, these guys that can kind of help you along the process.
Yeah. No, I love it. Just such valuable points. So tell the rest of our Thinking to Greatness community, how can we help or support what you're growing? I'd love to know kind of like what's the next goal you have for yourself, just to kind of put you on the spot there. What's a goal? Like what's something that you guys are working on to share with the world? How can we help and be of service to you? Travis, why don't I go the man that's all dressed in his Sunday threads?
Yes. What I got going, I got a lot of things happening. But the most important one for me right now is I'm starting my own Caribbean food business, and I have some amazing jerk marinade. I was joking on these guys earlier. It looks like mud, but it tastes delicious. So yeah, they get the business is going to be called Big Up, and Big Up in Patois, Jamaica, in Jamaican terms, is to celebrate, congratulate yourself, right? So I'm congratulating myself with all the work that I've been doing by starting my own food business. So again, Big Up. So Big Up, one word with a capital U on the up, and I'll share all the Instagram stuff and all the social media stuff in the comments later. And yeah, that'll be the support I would ask from you guys, is maybe you guys could enjoy some of this as well. Just hit me up and let me know.
Yeah. Hey, I love it. You know why? Just as you said it, I thought, Buckley's cough medicine, they have a whole brand talking about it tastes awful, but it worked, right? Same. So you're saying looks like mud, but freaking tastes awesome. And I will be the first to get a case of that, because Kiana fell in love with jerk sauce when we were in Jamaica a few years ago. So I'm sure little girl will love it. Okay. What about you, George? What are you working on? How can we help and be of service to you?
Yeah, well, of course, just follow me on my social media, just for, whatever my story and my workout stuff. I'm still running my personal training business. So you can go to my Instagram or TikTok. I'm always still looking for clients, to help them, both physically, but mentally for sure, with whatever it is, working out, nutrition, accountability, all that shit. So, no, yeah, just holla at me if you have any questions or you need any help. If you're stuck in a situation where you need somebody, I'm your guy.
Yeah. Hey, especially now, right, folks, with all these, during this interesting time, we need some different, maybe it's time to get open to different, training ideas, workout ideas. So hit up Jordan and go watch some of his stuff. It's pretty impressive. It's awesome. What about you, David?
Oh, for me, I think as most of you guys already know, if you guys need help with any marketing related stuff, let me know. If you guys are into coffee, you want to order some coffee, anagramcoffee.co to grab coffee. But one of the things, the biggest ask right now for me is, yesterday I decided I wanted to finally get my Facebook community going for multi-passion entrepreneurs. It's not there yet, but if you want to be a founding member, I think the easiest way to kind of put your name on the list when the group is created is just maybe tag me in the comments below this video and let me know, and I'll add you when it becomes a thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And definitely share all those stuff, all the handles and the comments below. And again, if any of these guys' stories resonated with you, you kind of want to learn more about what it is we actually do, hear their experiences, reach out to them. Okay. So first and foremost, I wanted to acknowledge each of you, right? Again, seeing you guys grow, helping be a guide and a mentor and on your journey to greatness is why I've dedicated my life to this. And seeing you guys create these wins for yourself in your personal lives and your professional lives reminds me why I needed to make my own jump. So thank you for allowing me to continue to be part of your lives. Okay. Second, for those watching, okay, and this is something I'm going to stress, is success in life is not a secret. It's a system, right? Like we are no different, right? Each of the four of us is no different than any of you. We put our pants on one leg at a time. The only difference is we chose to go all in on ourselves, right? We invest time daily into ourselves. We invest time, energy, financially, right, into our growth, right? And I'm a firm believer, when you pay attention. Shit, there's a ton of free stuff out there, but really, the free stuff is, it's not that the free, like there's some good free stuff out there, okay? But what I'm saying is, when you invest your actual money into yourself, you're saying, I am greatness. Like I am deserving of greatness. I am worthy of greatness. And it's amazing what happens, right? So if this resonates with you, okay, send me a message. Let's have a conversation. Okay, you can talk about your goals. And again, you can be right here sitting along us next time we do this Huddle Mastermind. And you'll be up here sharing your story, and you'll show other people in your life what's possible when you go all in. So have an amazing rest of your day. I'll chat with you really soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Peace.